Greek authorities are intensifying their efforts to clear the Idomeni refugee camp along the border with Macedonia. Thousands of people are still camped there despite pleas by the Greek government to get on buses and to go to newly created reception centres. They're hopeful they'll reach Western Europe and on Sunday held a protest demanding the border to be opened. For more on this story, Maria Kagkelidou joins us from Athens. Maria, hello. Now, many still remain stranded in Greece. What's exactly happening in Idomeni at the border?
Well, there's over 10,000 people stranded in Idomeni. They had a fairly eventful weekend. That was because rumors reached migrants and refugees in other camps spread throughout northern Greece that the border would somehow reopen during the weekend. Now, this border has now been closed for over 2 weeks. Nevertheless, hundreds of people made their way there and expected to see the borders open and them being let through. When this didn't happen, they held a number of protests with other migrants and refugees that have been staying there for the last few weeks, trying to stop them from storming the fence that separates the two countries. On the other hand, we've got a number of people that decided that enough is enough and boarded Greek government buses to take them to other hosting facilities, other reception centres. However, as I said, there is still thousands of people in Idomeni. Many of them refuse to believe that the closure of the borders is a permanent feature and that they will not be allowed to continue their journey to Northern Europe, despite the fact that it seems that the closure of the Balkan route seems now permanent, and it's certainly a part of the EU deal with Turkey to stem the flow of refugees and migrants.
Okay, now the EU and Turkey have created a new deal to try and return what they say is irregular migrants, those migrants travelling without the correct documentation to Turkey in order for them to apply for asylum from Turkey. Do you think this deal is working and it's starting to take effect?
Well, it is still early days. Now, this deal doesn't apply to the thousands already in Greece. It applies to everybody who enters Greece after March the 20th. It is early days. However, we're seeing a significant reduction in arrivals. This may be due to the weather, which wasn't very good in these last few days. However, nevertheless, less than 200 people per day have been making their way to the Greek islands during this past week. So if this trend continues, it will certainly appear that the deal is working. This depends on a number of things. It depends on what happens to the people arriving here. Now, the new arrivals, those arriving after March 20th, aren't allowed to move freely like people previously were allowed to move. Instead, they are essentially being arrested and kept in a guarded accommodation, in guarded camps. The Greek and the Turkish officials and the EU officials are saying that their applications are going to be examined very, very quickly and that we're going to see the first returns by April 4th. Now, if this proves to be the case and with the borders up north closed, it will be yet another sign that the EU is unlikely to change course and that people making the crossing could well be wasting significant funds.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much for that update there, Maria. Maria in Athens for us.